everyone, Chain Grinder here, or if you find this on the Junky Spot forums, Gem of the Moon. Today I'm going to be doing a comparison between the female Obitsu and the female Volks EB Beauty A-Type. Though I have to start out and say that this Volks is from 2006 or 7, so the joining system might be a little bit different now. We have them standing, and they're both standing pretty well, but the Volks joining system made it a little awkward, seeing as the knees don't really move that well. Case in point, they only move a little bit forward and then a little bit backwards, and you can turn them a little bit, but not that well. Well, actually you can turn them a lot and then have their knees being all kinds of weird. But I don't think you'd want that for a pose. The Obitsu, on the other hand, she can stand fairly well. It just depends on how you're balancing her compared to the surface she's on. Like, this is a flat table, so she's standing fairly well. But she can't really stand with her feet directly below her. Well, maybe she can. But the main difference between Obitsus and Volks are their joining systems, and while people say that they are both the precursor to the current joining system for most ball-jointed dolls, I actually prefer Obitsus better because they have a lot more flexibility compared to the Volks. Like, here's the Obitsu with her elbow all the way bent back as she can get it, so she can like touch her face or do some silly pose like this. While the Volks, on the other hand, if you try and do that, as you saw, her forearm will pop off. You can pop it back in, but it's kind of frustrating. I seriously don't understand how people can stand the EB Beauty's popping offness. Like, she can get to here, and that's pretty much it. She can't bend any further, or else her arm will pop off like that. So if you get an EB Beauty, your best bet is to probably keep them from moving their arms too much. While they both have the same basic trunk joining system, one joint up here for the chest and then the hips, and you can't probably tell, but the Obitsu is a soft bust, so she only has these two parts anyways. Well, some of the other ones actually have a joint specifically for the hips in this area right here, which makes it a little bit easier for them to bring their knees up to their chest, but she can still somewhat manage it, albeit the soft vinyl kind of gets in the way, so she gets this little pudge there. She can get to about here without anything in the way. Sometimes if I have her in her little kimono, she can get to about like here, so she's leaning back a little, but that's still a decent pose. But if you kind of squish her down a little bit more, she can get into a normal sitting position, almost upright. Well, the Volks, on the other hand, she can get to there and no further. And that's not really, well, it is a decent sitting pose, but she can't do anything like have one knee close to her chest or whatever. Like, her hips barely move. They can't even turn. I'm trying to turn it here. Not really happening. Can't even move back that far, too. This one's all the way up as it can go, and this one's all the way back. Not very good. Obitsu, all the way up, and then about all the way back as I can get it. Huge difference there. Let's see. Another good thing about Obitsus, they actually easily have the joints where they pop off. So you have like the male part and then the female part there, so you can just put it back together if your Obitsu decides to not like being in one piece, like mine sometimes does. But it also helps if you want to get them into something that's a little hard for their hands to get through, like hoodies. Like you can just take off this section of the arm and slide that part through the sleeve and put this back on once the sleeve is on. Same with the legs. Easily come off. Her torso could also come off, but I don't really feel like ripping her head off for this one, because I have the eyes pretty well in there and I don't feel like messing them up. So I think I might be able to get her torso off easily, but that's probably not a good idea right now. The Volks, she can actually turn pretty well. She can turn all the way back, so if you want an owl-like doll, this will probably be a good one for that. Though I'm not sure how you would mod wings onto them. But she can turn her chest section all the way back, and then all the way to the front. Like that. One more time. Like, all her joints are pretty much the same type of joint that her elbow has, except for her shoulders and her hips, from what I can tell. And the ankles, actually. So the Obitsu, she can turn like a normal human. She can turn all the way back to front, front to back, that sort of thing. All sorts of ways. But if you want something that has great posability, I suggest that you guys get the smaller Obitsus to start off, and not Volks EB Beauty, because they kind of don't have that great of a joining system. At least from what I've seen. So they might have changed them in the past 4 years or so, but from what I'm seeing here, it's not that great. She can't even... She can kneel, sort of, but... For the Volks, it seems to be all about balance and not tipping your doll over. Although Obitsu, she can do a lot of things. And that's pretty much it for now.